Hey, Allison. Okay, I'm so excited that we can connect today and I can answer your questions. So just re-ask
Yeah.
me the question that you were asking me inside of Messenger, and let's make sure we get you the answer so you're ready for that first event you have.
Okay. So, I'm interested in doing a local. I have my venue, everything. Next week, actually a week from today. So we'll see how it goes. But the one thing I wanted to know is, one of the several things I wanted to know is if people raise their hand and at the end they come up to me and they're just like, okay, I want to be a promoter. I'm wondering, what are three things that I want them to know? Like, do they need to know about buying the 400, 800 pack right away? If so, like, what's the purpose I'm telling them it's important, right? Because I told them already they don't need to keep inventory. Why would they be like, oh yeah, I need all this supplies on hand, $400 worth, $800 worth? I'm not really clear on how to answer or what to tell them if they say, yes, I want to be a promoter.
Okay. Awesome. That's it. First of all, those are two great questions. They're kind of two separate questions, right? So we're going to talk about the three things that you should say if they're interested in the business first, but then let's also address, after we talk about that, about the promoter packs, because it is confusing when you say this is a free business opportunity, but then you say
Right.
you should really purchase the 400, 800 packs. So we will walk.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a really great question. I think a lot of people don't ask that question, but wonder it, and they get caught up on that. So I'm glad you asked. So when you say, what are the three things that you think are most important for me to tell people when they're like, yeah, I want to learn more about the business part, but I want to ask you, because I really believe, like, what do you think is the most important three things that you should say if somebody goes, hey, Allison, that was awesome tonight. I'm ready to buy the product, or I'm already on the product, but I really want to learn more about that business thing that you were talking about.
Right. So that is a great question. And I'm glad you just kind of threw it back in my court and made me think about it. So I thought about it. I've thought about it, and I'll just go ahead and share what I came up with. So the
Yes.
first thing is I want them to know that they have me as a support all the way. So me to help support their customers, all the third party validation stuff, the calls, the three-way chats, as well as helping their customers get on track with taking their 3 steps. Because we know that sometimes we have to tweak things based on someone's system and what they can handle all at once or right away. So I want them to know they have me to support or for support in more ways than one. And also knowing that there are guides, like there's a larger group for new promoters and there are guides in the group so you can walk yourself through. Not only does our team have that, but the company offers training and guides that you can do self-paced also. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. You don't have to start things over from scratch. Use what's already there. The third thing I would say is begin your 3 steps right away so that others can see that you're interested or becoming a product of the product. So they need to know basically how it feels to be on that 60-day experience first themselves and to be doing it while they're telling other people about it. And you asked for 3, but I thought to myself, I was like, okay, what is a fourth? There's actually a fourth. And if I had to add a fourth, I think it would be that, let's see here. I'm going to look at my notes real quick. I think I'd want to know if they want to begin thriving for free immediately. And if so, I like to set the bar high, right? Not super high and unattainable, but over the years, I've worked with students achieving Service Academy qualifying ACT and SAT scores, right? They don't just need to know and want to strive for, what do I need to actually meet the minimum? Let's strive to get more questions right than necessary. Because if that's your goal, you can aim higher and you have a higher expectation for yourself. And then it's just all better. So translating that to this, it would be, let's go for 4 people. Invite 4 people to join you on this 60-day journey. And that's how you can start thriving for free. Because if you get 2, well, if 2 is your goal, you might get 1, right? But if you get 4, you might get 3.
Okay.
If you strive for 4, you might get 3.
Yeah, no, those 4 points are awesome. So I love that you already kind of knew, right? You were asking the question because you were a little unsure, but you really did know the answer. Well, I want to break down each one of those though. So the first one where you
Sure.
said support, I could not agree more. They're really joining, maybe because they loved what you shared about the product, maybe because they were like, oh, this opportunity seems lucrative, or it seems like something I could actually do. But the main thing is they are trusting you. They believe what you shared with them. They believe the vision that you casted for them, right? That's why they're joining. So I love that the very first thing that you said was support, because they are looking to you to hold their hand. So I will usually say something like, I want you to know I'm here to support you, however that looks for you. So we're going to, within the next week, have a conversation to hear how fast you want to go. And I'm going to break down for you the first 2 bonuses that you can earn in the first 2 weeks. How does $1,100 in cash sound for simply having 8 people join you, 4 as customers, 4 in the business? And then I stay quiet. So I go, how does that sound? And then sometimes people will say, that sounds amazing. I'm so excited. And then obviously you're in person with them because they're at your event. I will go and write notes when they leave. So Melissa was really excited about that $1,100 and seemed really into it, right? Or sometimes maybe Jenny says, oh my gosh, that sounds like scary. Like, I don't know how I would get 8 people. Like, I don't know if I could do that. Right. So I write that down just to kind of remind myself where they're at right away, and hearing 4 people as customers, 4 people as promoters equals $1,100 in cash in their pocket, and like how that kind of feels for them. I also say, so listen, we're going to go through that together when we have some time together. We're going to hear what you want out of this business. And I'm here to support you in that. So for the first 2 weeks, we're going to be BFFs. We're going to text every single day. Promise I won't text you multiple times a day, but you're welcome to text me multiple times a day. But we're going to be like, I'm your sister or your best friend. Then after those 2 weeks, you can decide at what pace you want to continue. There's another bonus, a third bonus that you can earn in your first 30 days that gets you a free pair of Maui Jim sunglasses. And then, like we know right now, they also get a bonus, but I don't know if that will be continuing in the future. And so that's always a fun one to hit as well. And so if you're like, after the 2 weeks, Allison, this was so much fun, I'm loving it, I've got people who are loving it, like, let's go, then we'll keep going. But I want you to know I'm here to support you. And any question that you have, any concern that you have, I'm here to help you. The other really cool way that I support you is by validation calls. So you can put somebody on the phone with me. You can put them in a text message with me. You can put them in a 3-way message on Facebook or Instagram with me and say, this is Allison. She's been thriving longer than me. Let her share her story with you and answer any questions that you have. And then my job is to give them the story of the Thrive experience and how it's helped me, or maybe somebody that would relate more to them. And then I will ask them if they have any questions and see if they're ready to place their order with you. Right. So they know, it's like, I always say to them, it's on the job training. How does that feel? Right. And then usually a lot of times people will be like, well, that's awesome. Like, if you're going to be basically doing it for me. And I always say to them, yes and no. It's your business. You are your own CEO. That is the best part about this. But my job is to support you and to help you. And in the beginning, how would you know what to say? So I'm here for job training, 3-way calls. The more you can bring me, the better, because you'll hear my voice. If we do it through Messenger, I'll try to voice if I can. Sometimes when you do a 3-way text message, you can't. But you'll be able to get those different things that you hear me say, and that'll help you. Okay.
Yes.
So that was the first one. How does that feel as far as like, what does support look like?
I think that's good. Letting them know that it will look however you want it to look. Like, if you want a lot, then we can do a lot, but you're the business owner, but I'm going to support you to do well so you can thrive. And then, if you want a little, we can do that too. So yeah, I like that.
Okay, good. So that was the first one. And then the second thing that you said that you feel like they need to know is about the guides and what's available to them. Right.
Right. So, resources.
Yeah. So at that event, again, I would be like, so you know that you have me to support you, but we also have, in a larger scale, through the company, as well as our team, which we have an amazing large community. That's part of our team. We have a Facebook group, and inside of there's all kinds of resources for you. Inside of your cloud office, which you get for free from the company, there's also resources. And we literally have a 14-day boot camp where you can log in each day and get an idea of what to post, an idea of how to reach out to people, and learn more from some of our leaders on our team. So that's available to you. So you're never alone.
Yeah. I like that.
Yeah. So that it gives them that feeling of like, okay, I'll be able to do this. Right.
You know what I'm noticing, Blair, is that there's a level of confidence that comes with having done each step of this along the way. So for instance, you've done this so many times, you're able to speak it very comfortably. And once I've done it so many times, I'll be able to speak it comfortably. Just like I'm better at answering questions now for first timers than I used to be. I used to be like, and Haley still helps me.
Yeah.
We still do those calls, those three-way validation calls, but
Yeah.
I've learned so much. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Of how to handle it.
honestly, I agree with you. I think confidence, obviously, with you being in the reserves, like, right? Like, confidence is essential. Like anything that they put you into, like you have to go in with confidence, even if you don't know what you're doing yet. And same thing with this, like you are their confidence in the beginning. So you've got to be excited. You've got to be confident. You've got to know that they can have success for them before they ever can. So yeah, I love that you picked up on that. And then I also always say the best copycat wins. So I love that you said for number 2, guides and all the resources that are available to them, because you said when you were saying this back to me, there's no reason to recreate the wheel. So I always say the best copycat wins. When I started, I literally copied every single thing I saw somebody do that would help me get closer to my goal. I didn't create my own stuff. I just used what was out there.
Oh, that's awesome. I like that. I had to write it down. Yeah.
And then the third thing you said was using the product correctly, getting them on the product right away, having their own experience, writing their own experience. So when you share that third thing with them, and one of the best things I can say is these 4 points that you came up with are brilliant. So you just need to memorize the points, not all the verbiage with it, just like what are my points. And I think that the thing about using the product and being a product of the product. So that's what I would say. I want to be a product of the product. So not everyone's going to have a, I lost 30 pounds story, right?
Yes.
Or I went from taking a nap every day to not needing a nap. Well, not everyone's going to have a huge experience, but they're going to have something. And then they can go read other stories and learn more about what the product can do for different people. And I always think, like, for me, stories are the best way that I can explain that to people. So I always say, when I first started, I was a tired, exhausted mom. All I did was share with tired, exhausted moms when I first started. But then one of my friends shared it with her mom, who's much older, in her 80s. She started gardening again. She wasn't able to move her fingers. Now she was. She hadn't gardened in years. Wow. She called me crying and so thankful, right? That made me realize, okay, wait a minute. I'm only sharing with moms. I need to share with everybody. Doesn't matter.
gardening grandmas.
Right.
Yes.
And
yes.
18 and up. So, we do have, we have Kids Thrive, but for the Thrive experience, it's really 18 and up. So I needed to start sharing it with more diversity of people. And so it really expanded what I thought. So that's one of the things I would say to them is you want to be a product of the product, but you want to also know the stories. So get on that Facebook fan page or get into the customer group and learn more stories and take notes every day of your first month on Thrive, because something as simple. Yeah. Here's a funny story. Something as simple as my yoga instructor said to me last week, Blair, my period started and didn't even know it was coming. And that doesn't sound like a big deal, but for years I've had unbearable cramps, bloating, uncomfortable. I always knew when my period was coming.
Wow.
She started my period last week and didn't even know it.
Yeah.
So, right.
That's like a huge thing for her. Yeah.
Huge. But people forget that. And I was like, oh my gosh, that reminds me. I wore white jeans the first month I started on Thrive and I got something on them. And I was like, oh my gosh, my period started. Like I would have never known that either because I always had very heavy signs. So again, that shows that inflammation is reducing in my body. Like I Googled why that would happen. So just take notes over that first 30 days, because something you might think is very simple, like, my stomach's not gurgling it this afternoon. It usually gurgles every afternoon. That's a big deal. That means your digestive tract is working correctly.
That's really cool. No, I like that.
Yeah,
that's really,
I love that you said that. I'm just expanding on what you said. So really you should be proud of yourself. You should be like, I said, and then the fourth one was that they can immediately get their product for free, and how fast do they want to do that? And I love that. And I love that you gave them a bigger goal, because if they are committed to trying to find 4 people, then all they need to do, they've already hit half of the second bonus, right? They only need to get 4 people to join them in the business. So, and then that to me is where it easily rolls into the promoter packs. And that's usually where, and I'll say to them, do you want to get started thriving for free right away? Let's grab a few friends who you think would love this product, get them started as a customer. And here's the great news. You're already halfway to your bonus. Now we need some promoters, and this is a free business opportunity. And I want to make sure you understand that. However, our company bundles together promoter packs. And in your first 2 weeks that you're trying to hit your bonuses, they do want you to get 2 to hit VIP 800 and another 2 to hit VIP 1600. Why do they do that? Because they're actually trying to help you get started learning duplication immediately. So they give you a bonus for it, but it's really about duplication, because if every single month of this business from today to 20 years from now, you brought in 2 new auto ship customers and 2 new promoters every single month that purchased a promoter pack, your business would continue to grow, because the customers, if they love it, they're going to want to get 2 to thrive for free, or maybe they're going to want to become a promoter. The promoter are going to try to go on to hit their first 2 bonuses, which means they're bringing in new people to the business. And then those new people might want to also join the business. And that's where you all of a sudden start duplicating. And all of a sudden you have gone from 1 or 2 people to 10 to 100.
That's cool.
Right?
Yeah. I think I've mentioned this before, but that whole, I don't want to say compensation plan, but explaining the bonus thing, like I've heard it and stuff, but I need to sit and actually when it comes to numbers and math, I have to write it out and I have to see it. Right. And it sounds very simple, but I understand it better if I write it out. And that's something I have not done yet, so that I understand specifically what it means to be halfway to your goal. And that's not to say that I haven't, that I haven't been shared that information or explained that to. It's just, I haven't committed that process to my own memory to be able to speak it confidently. Right. So that's.
So let's walk through an easy way to explain. Okay. So I say this to people when they say, can you explain your compensation plan to me? I say, first of all, I'm going to email it to you. You're welcome to go through it. Some people are very analytical, but I'm just going to break it down for you in some simple steps. Our company compensation plan, there's like 10 different ways that you can make money. But what you really want to do right away is build duplication. And so the first 2 bonuses are literally just teaching you how to build duplication. So let's just walk through what that means. The first bonus, VIP 800, 2 auto ship customers. Now you are thriving for free. You never have to pay for your thrive again. And now you're also bringing in 2 promoters who have purchased a promoter package. So the total sales of those 4 people need to be $800. Once you've hit that, you hit VIP 800. You make a $400 cash bonus, $100 in free product, and about 100 to 116 cash commissions based on what you sold. That's why we say you can earn $660 in bonuses. But also you have 2 auto ship customers, so you know you're going to be thriving for free next month. So now those 2 auto ship customers, we're going to help them fall in love with their Thrive experience. And then they're going to go get 2 this month so that they can thrive for free next month. That means you've gone from 2 customers to 6. Now, those 2 people who purchased promoter packs and joined you in the business, we're going to help both of them to go on and hit the same bonus you just hit. So now each of these people are bringing in 2 auto ship customers, 2 promoters who purchased promoter packs. Total sales are $800, and they earn all those same bonuses you just earned. And now you have a team that's growing, right?
Wow. Yeah. Oh gosh, you're so good at explaining this.
Well, now let's take it to the next step. The first spot of the compensation plan is what we call 4K. That just means you're bringing in $4,000 in sales in a month. Well, if you have 2 customers that have now brought in 2 people each, you have 6 people purchasing at 160. So that's a lot of volume, right? Let's just call that, let's say they were 150, because that's what it used to be. So it's easier.
What it used to be, right?
So then that's $300, $600, $900 in sales, right? Now you've got 2 promoters who are also going for their VIP 800. Let's say they both hit it. That's $1,600 in sales plus the 900. That's $2,500. If one of them just goes on to hit the second goal, which is VIP 1600, you're at 4,000. And now you help that one promoter or maybe both to hit their 4,000. And let's say both of them do it. And that means you have $12,000 worth of volume. You're now at the second spot of the compensation plan, which means you get your car paid for.
It's so funny because the way you explain it is amazing. It's like wow, this isn't that complicated. And for me, as you're talking, I'm drawing my little tree, right? Like
Yeah.
just, oh yeah. Yeah.
Totally. And for me, and then I say to them, listen, my goal in this business is to help other people hit their goal. And once you hit your first goal and your first promoter hits their goal, you'll see what I'm talking about. It is way more fun helping other people hit their goal than
Yes.
hitting your own goal. So think about this.
Yeah.
Now you're driving around in a new luxury car, or maybe you already had a black and white luxury car and you're getting $800 a month for your auto bonus. But now your first promoter hit auto bonus. Then your second promoter
Like,
hit auto bonus,
yay.
right? Now, what if you had 3 people who hit auto bonus? That's 36,000 in sales. The next spot of the compensation plan is 40,000 with your customers and 3 people on your team that hit auto bonus. You're at 40,000 that month. Now you've hit another spot of the compensation plan and you get paid even more. And then
Wow.
it keeps building like that. So it's really all
Yeah.
about duplication. And that's really the easiest way to break down a compensation plan. So my suggestion to you, Allison, is just get comfortable with how to explain that. And I had to
Okay.
I mean, it took me time. Like I say it easily now, but that's because I've been doing this for 7.5 years. So when I first started,
Yeah.
I just kept saying the same thing to everybody because I memorize it, right? And
Yeah.
I would just explain it very simply. And at a local event, I would explain it like this. Hey, listen, if you liked what you heard tonight and you're like, wow, that product.
Let's connect later.
Yeah. Well, I would say if you thought that sounded amazing, wait till you hear about the business opportunity, because you can earn over $1,100 in your first 2 weeks by helping 8 people get started. And so let's talk about this later if you're interested. And then,
Okay.
I try to keep it as simple as possible. And
Simple.
so, yeah. And so going back to your original question about the 400 pack and the 800 pack, how do you explain that? I just say to them, you don't have to buy any promoter pack. You are a free brand promoter. But the reality is, number one, you need product so that you can have some for yourself. And I always think it's important to have some extra for sampling local people. And the cool thing is when you buy the $400 package in your first month, you get 10 free sample mail outs. That means the company mails out 3-day samples to anybody you want, 10 different.
Yes.
Plus, you're going to have extra product that you could give to your local people. So save those mailing samples to the people that don't live close to you, so you don't have to pay for postage. They're going to pay for the postage. They'll send it out. They also send out a cool email with it, so they have lots of information. And that's a great way to get people started who are maybe on the fence. And then 800 pack is even better if you're really serious about the business, because you're going to get a ton of products, 6 months worth. You can mix it up between men's and women's, and you're going to get 20 free sample mail outs. And so the value of that is also that, you can sell your local people samples. You can package together 3 days worth of products and sell it for $30 if you want. You could package up a week's worth and sell it for $50 or $60. It's really up to you.
Yeah.
You could make your money back pretty quick just on samples. And then you're also hitting your goal. And for me personally, Allison, I always, if they're really into it and they're running, I push the 800. If they're a little still hesitant, I push the 400, because that's the first bonus. I say, you're going to pay yourself back. Remember, we're going to hit this bonus. And if possible, by Sunday at midnight, so you get paid Tuesday. You're going to get paid before your credit card bill even shows up. And that's my goal for you.
Yes. Nice.
Right.
Yeah.
And then in the future, I do still tell people, the benefit of the promoter pack is they give you specials, right? 400 pack, you get an extra free product. 800 pack, you get 2 free products plus free shipping.
Oh, right.
Benefits to all of them.
Yeah, no, that's great. For me so far, it's when you talk about helping other people, not just the financial piece, but also the seeing people feel better. Right? Like I have a friend, major gut issues, drinking sodas, big gulps, coffee all the time. And she's like, I feel so much better. I'm not even wanting that stuff. And you can see it.
Yeah, I totally agree. And it's so fun. And that's also where you want to make sure you're sharing those stories out there. So
yes,
if she's not ready to write it up, maybe you help her write it up, or maybe you interview her, or, different things like that, because those stories are impactful. There are so many people out there who are wanting to get off soda and don't know how.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I'm not a soda drinker, but I remember Cliff Roy. I interviewed him in my group and he was talking about all the soda he used to drink. Yeah.
Yes. Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
yes. And all the damage that does to you, right? So it's great when you can share those kind of stories with other people. And also when you have your local events, if you don't have anybody to share their story at the event, you can always Zoom people in, just put up your
Yes.
computer and have people share their stories, because the stories are what's powerful.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Anything
Awesome.
else?
Yeah. I think that's now all I have to do is go back and listen to all your answers and make sure
I will give you this
I
recording.
capture them.
Yeah, yeah. I'll
Yes.
give you this recording. So that's always helpful.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I'm really excited. It was that Lavelle clip that kind of triggered me to be like, what's the rest of the story about how to run a local, like simple, right?
Yeah. Yeah. They really
Yeah.
are. I think we overthink things like that, or it seems like it should be complicated, but I kept it so simple. I mean, one time, I think it was the first time, I think I told you this, I put out like wine and cheese or something. People stayed
And
way.
they stayed long.
Oh my gosh. I was like, I gotta get my little kids. My kids were like 8 and 10 when I started this business. So I'm like, I gotta get these kids to bed. Like, you guys need to leave. So I've learned it's not a girls' night, right? And if people want to
Right.
go out after, so I try to encourage that. Like, if I have an event and we do it at like 7 or 6:30, I'll say, and you should bring some friends and go out after. You should grab some friends, go to
Nice.
dinner after. And I'll even say that when
Yeah.
I start, like, hey guys, we're going to keep this to, 30 or 45 minutes, however long, however, it depends on how many people I have sharing their story. But usually I can get it done in 30, 45 minutes. And so I say, we're keeping this to 30, 45 minutes so that you guys can go grab a bite to eat and a drink with your friends who are here tonight.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Yeah. That's great.
Awesome. Okay. I'm going
Okay.
to stop. Let me